Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street, in person back here at the NASDAQ market site in New York City. This show is all about public, private, blockchain companies, the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators, bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go. So let's start with what's new with Sustainable Green Team this month.
With Sustainable Green Team, we're planning we're envisioning an engagement in the Middle East where we give a visual representation to people who will come to COP28, which will be held in Dubai, of what can be done by the combination of the technology we bring and the capacity that SGTM brings. So we're planning to build out of coloured mulch in the desert a flag that people can fly in over and see from the air. And under that, we're planning to improve the soil using local waste incubated with our technology to grow water underneath the flag and grow plants through the flag, so people can, as they come in to prepare for COP28 over the next 12 months, they can learn what kind of leadership is in that region that has taken up this kind of technology to, at scale, improve the desert.
Mm-hmm. And then what about the event in Florida?
We were lucky enough to be invited by the management team of SGTM on the 15th and 16th of December to their inaugural global convention. So both Ken and I are featured speakers there, featured guests. What we hope to do is to broaden the relationships with all of the team and also to extend that knowledge transfer, the training component of which I am responsible all over the world.
And just talk about 2023. I mean, we're looking ahead to a new year. What are your goals, missions for next year? Maybe you could both weigh in on this.
Yeah, so the ultimate objective is to have an impact on 25% of the world's arable land. So to have a component that's adding the rebuilding of that much land. That's millions and millions and millions of acres. Not such an easy task. So in 2023, we want to build that capacity. We can do some of that here in the US. We'll do some in other parts of the world. Together with SGTM, that means we'll be collecting and securing feedstock to build the catalyst for soil in a number of locations all over the US. And then we'll be partnering with people who are users of that, so large agricultural producers and people who want to do a social responsibility or have a social responsibility impact on large areas of land. We're forming partnerships there. So 2023 looks very interesting.
One of the key elements for us as well is to expand into the retail area in the US. So we've already seen a big uptake in interest in home gardeners, in people growing small vegetable farms. Those people, those potential customers are very keen to get their hands on humus soil, and we are really keen to be able to get out there and help them learn how to use it.
So don't forget that the US is in drought in 2023. Almost the whole country. So a lot of the water that's left is being used by cities. So to the extent that every American can get the humus soil and mulch in their yard to prevent the water going out of their soil or their grass dying, for example, to the extent that that can happen, water can be diverted back to agriculture. It's a drought. We've got to think about that kind of thing. So in the Middle East, in the region in general, there are some available organic materials. One of them is human waste, biosolids. Another is food waste. In order to process those two elements safely, you also need a carbon-based, a fiber-based material to join with those in the safe processing of that material so that you can use it back in agriculture. So the intention is to help with that. We bring material that's already been processed, that's already had that process kick-started in it, and speed up the processing of those two huge waste volumes, millions and millions of tonnes of food waste, and millions of tonnes of biosolids that are currently sitting unused. So bringing them together with wood waste and carbon-based material, wood fibres from here that we've processed and carefully taken care of, putting that in the process means that's available for use in repairing soil in the region. So we've had the good fortune of visiting with the governments and representatives from various governments in a number of different countries in the region. I think it's no secret that there are numerous very well-intentioned programs to restore trees and vegetation in each of the countries in the region. We see that as real-world leadership. That we can talk about impacts in managing various things in policy, but a policy that says we want to actually rebuild the soil and rebuild the vegetation, that's a real thing. So there are some very strong leaders in the region that we want to deliver some success to and then feature their success.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
The Sustainable Green Team is a leading provider of environmentally conscious solutions in the arbor care, disposal, and recycling industry. We are a vertically integrated green manufacturer of green waste to usable product solutions. We recently partnered with VRM BioLogik, which includes manufacturing and distribution rights for world-leading soil moisture technology, Humisoil, and XLR8 Bio. Find us on the OTCQX as the stock ticker SGTM. The time to invest in the future of sustainability is now for this generation and future generations.
Coastal Capital focuses on equipment-based lending, lines of credit, and working capital. If we didn't have partnerships and trust, nothing would move forward. We like to get to know the core of the client. Coastal Capital is financing you can trust.
Coastal Capital is a lender to businesses, especially for equipment needs. And the company has been in business since 2007. And with me is Kortney Murray, the CEO of Coastal Capital. So great to have you back.
Jane, good to see you. Thank you.
So let's talk about, this has been a rough year economically. We've seen, of course, interest rates go up, inflation's gone up. I mean, how have you stayed ahead of the competition? How have you navigated all of that?
Sure. So Coastal Capital is a little bit different than traditional bank lending. Obviously, we are catered more to, actually, all to business. And so we look at a few different parts, such as the asset they're buying, how long they've been in business, the risk of the deal. So current interest rates really don't affect us all too much because it really is the story of the file before we underwrite. And one of the things that have kept us ahead of our competition is with manufacturing, backed up and things like that, we're able to offer some deferment payment options so people can still buy their asset before it's manufactured and brought in.
I see. Interesting. So you've got some flexibility.
We do.
And almost kind of a hedge against interest rates.
We do.
So that's fortunate for you. But the supply chain issues have been impacting your customers, it sounds like.
They have. And so one of the things that we've incorporated is we have started allowing private party sales, meaning if our client finds a piece of equipment that someone's selling, maybe they're selling their business, we're not always having to pay just the manufacturer. Now we can pay private parties.
I see.
And so it allows us to kind of stay ahead of the competition, allowing our customers to get that asset into production today instead of waiting the 6 months for it to be manufactured.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, I'm sure they appreciate that as well. And there's probably quite a bit of that private sale.
There are.
With equipment, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's a little bit more due diligence to do because we have to show ownership of the asset and things like that. We want to make sure that they're buying something that's not a lemon. And so we can work with auction houses now and things like that. So we're able to do a pre-approval so they can go to auction and find something that may work for them.
Yeah. Now, do most of your customers work with you instead of a bank or in addition to a bank?
That would probably, most of our customers, when they start working with us, they stay with us because we do have access to multiple pieces of capital, such as SBA loans. We can do lines of credit. We also do equipment financing, but we also work with banks as partners. So when banks can't approve startup companies or companies that might be on their risk portfolio as too high of a risk, that bank likes them to work with companies like ours so they keep their money in that banking institution, because we don't hold money. We just, lend it outside of the box. So our exposure is a little bit different than a bank.
Right. No, it's a really interesting way of financing and helping businesses where they may not have an option. It gives them another option.
Exactly.
Financing and getting off the ground. And you have some flexibility in terms of age, caps, education. I mean, explain that too. Like, who would all be eligible?
We do. So we, a lot of banks, they have a 10-year cap on equipment. And so we have, I financed a 1979 baby grand piano, which was kind of funny. We don't have an age restriction on a lot of equipment unless it's heavy trucking. We like to keep it in a mileage range because we don't want to buy an asset to, repossess it and sell it. We want to make sure that our client is happy. So most of the time, as long as it's a strong asset, we can go out up to 30 years.
Okay, interesting. So what's next for Coastal Capital?
We are actually growing and expanding. We have grown our office just kind of twofold. It's been amazing, but we are opening up our own little lines internally, and we're trying to help our customers not only gain the asset, but we want them to gain the exposure of marketing, such as maybe doing some additional advertising or billboard space. So we're adding this ancillary product to kind of stay ahead of the game.
Now, you're based in Florida. Do you operate nationwide?
We are nationwide,
okay.
Jane. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Great to get an update, Kortney. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Thanks.
Coastal Capital focuses on equipment-based lending, lines of credit, and working capital. If we didn't have partnerships and trust, nothing would move forward. We like to get to know the core of the client. Coastal Capital is financing you can trust.
The Sustainable Green Team is a leading provider of environmentally conscious solutions in the arbor care, disposal, and recycling industry. We are a vertically integrated green manufacturer of green waste to usable product solutions. We recently partnered with VRM BioLogik, which includes manufacturing and distribution rights for world-leading soil moisture technology, Humisoil, and XLR8 Bio. Find us on the OTCQX as the stock ticker SGTM. The time to invest in the future of sustainability is now for this generation and future generations.
Hempacco is a hemp cigarette company that is looking to disrupt the tobacco industry, and they have a new joint venture to talk about as well. So with me is Sandro Piancone, the CEO of Hempacco, and also Dr. Stuart Titus, the chairman of the company, as well, chairman of the board. So tell me about your new joint venture. It's called Organipure, right?
Organipure. So we're very excited. We were here last time talking. We were talking about disrupting the $1 trillion tobacco industry.
Trillion. It's hard to believe it's that big.
Right. So it's a worldwide number, and what we're trying to do, we believe the holy grail is taking the smell out of hemp and marijuana, cannabis. But in our scenario, it's hemp. So we did a joint venture with a company called High Sierra Technologies. And what we did is we formed a joint venture called Organipure. And this joint venture, we have the patent to take the smell out of hemp cigarettes.
Okay.
So very exciting.
Yeah. So does it work?
Well, so we were at the beginning, we hear a lot of things, and we said, does it really pass the smell test?
Yeah.
So we did what we're going to do with you. So this is what hemp, this is organic hemp from California.
So this is smelling, right? Okay,
yes.
Smells, yeah.
It smells
right.
very, so just imagine if you lit this outside, and this is the one with the new technology.
Okay, this is glass too, I gotta be careful, right? Yeah, no, definitely is a different smell.
Yeah,
right.
so it takes the actual smell out of the hemp product, and so now there's no odor, and then what we can do is now with technology we have, which we license, we can put new terpenes back on there. So we actually have a tobacco smell that we can put on there. We also have different terpenes, we have flavors that we put back onto the smokable product.
Do you have a patent on that?
So HSTI does, High Sierra Technologies has a patent. It's a worldwide patent. And with our joint venture now, we have an exclusive worldwide joint venture to take this product worldwide.
So who invented this?
So the gentleman, he's a PhD. His name is Dr. Vince Lombardi.
No, that's his name?
That's his name, Dr. Vince Lombardi. You will
Okay.
not forget that.
Yeah.
He is based out of Reno. He's actually a professor at the University of Reno, and he is the CEO of High Sierra Technologies. And we met him about a year ago. We were fascinated with the technology, and we call it the Holy Grail of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, so I mean, what are those things that can really make a difference in terms of sales? And Dr. Titus, do you have anything to chip in here on this?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, very exciting about this technology. I think it's going to be a total game changer for the industry. I mean, many people like the benefits of cannabis, but don't want to smoke during the day because it gets on their clothes and people know that they're smoking. But all of a sudden, if you can take the smell out, I believe this is going to increase the usability of cannabis.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting too because you walk around the streets and you'll smell cannabis in New York, but this is one way that, maybe you can get rid of that.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And just think, we think of the possibilities. We do a lot of trade shows in Las Vegas. And so when you're in a casino, you can go ahead and light a cigarette, a Marlboro, and that's okay. But if you light a hemp cigarette, they will ask you to leave.
What?
And our hemp cigarettes are legal, but we understand, and they ask them to leave. Now with this new technology,
Yeah,
that
they
won't
won't
happen.
even know. So what's your idea then to take it to market?
So our plan is just like in the cigarette industry where there's a red and a gold and a green for menthol. So we have our brands that we talked about, which are the Cheech and Chong brands, the Hemp Hop by Rick Ross, and the Real Stuff. We will have those same brands under this no odor technology. So some of the market likes the smell. The early adopters like the smell of cannabis. This will be an alternative to that. So you'll be able to get those great brands, those great flavors, but with a no smell technology.
Yeah, and then let's just talk real quick about, because hemp is legal. I mean, it was part of the 2018 Farm Bill. You're a publicly traded company here at the NASDAQ. I mean, I think a lot of people still get hemp and cannabis and stuff all mixed up. So can you explain?
We talk about that every day. It's education, education, educate. We're the first publicly traded company on the NASDAQ, hemp smokable company. It's legal. It's legal in all 50 states. We ship all over the world where hemp is legal. And so, yes, this should be just like any other product that you're outside and be able, but because of the smell, that's what sometimes causes the person to say, oh, that's cannabis.
To be
when it's not.
confused by it, yeah. Anything final words on this, Dr.
Exactly. Well, certainly this is a great movement in America. We've seen a tremendous move with now the non-psychoactive forms of cannabis really taking tremendous hold. We have 64 million Americans who are regular CBD users, and certainly this is a great way to absorb that CBD more directly into the cardiopulmonary system, so you really get the tremendous benefit of CBD when you do the hemp smokables.
Now, is there like a health benefit or like what, or is this more of a relaxation thing?
This is relaxation.
Okay.
So CBD is our products are another delivery vehicle for CBD. So you can take the tincture, put it underneath your tongue. You can take a gummy, or if you like to go outside or smoke with your friends, you can have one of our products and enjoy the benefits of smoking.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Great to be with you. Thank you again.
The Sustainable Green Team is a leading provider of environmentally conscious solutions in the arbor care, disposal, and recycling industry. We are a vertically integrated green manufacturer of green waste to usable product solutions. We recently partnered with VRM BioLogik, which includes manufacturing and distribution rights for world-leading soil moisture technology, Humisoil, and XLR8 Bio. Find us on the OTCQX as the stock ticker SGTM. The time to invest in the future of sustainability is now for this generation and future generations.
Do your employees use Zoom? Do your employees use Microsoft Teams? Professionals need enhanced security. Add Zarify's Defender for the only secure, zero-trust video conferencing protection. Your employees, clients, and patients deserve it.
Quantum computing is where scientists and engineers go when they need to solve the most complex and difficult problems. And with me is Hunter Gaylor with New to the Street, and also Bill McGann, who is the Chief Technology Officer at Quantum Computing Incorporated, to explain what the company is doing and quantum computing in general. And I'll kick things off, and then we can both kind of chip in here. So there's something you've got, Bill. entropy quantum computer. So can you explain what that is, what kind of problems it may solve?
Sure, and thanks for allowing me to be here with you this morning. So yeah, entropy quantum computing is a new concept for quantum information processing. And unlike the typical architectures that people are developing and talking about today, which are using semiconducting, sort of superconducting pairs of electrons, or ion based formulations where they're building these pristine qubits, the systems that we're developing and designing are based on using the sources of what those systems would consider to be noise that they're trying to eliminate, and we're using them as a useful source of energy. So we're using the entropy of the environment to actually solve very complex quantum-based problems in the case of specific examples for constrained optimization. So examples would be very complex problems in supply chain, logistics, finance, even some of the areas of medical science where you are dealing with problems that contain lots of complex variables that have lots of interactions among them to build solutions to these problems that provide efficient answers to the world.
No, it's really incredible. And you spoke to a couple of the use cases, Bill, and one of them was finance. And there was a recent article that just came out about your company, which I found really incredible, that you're using your quantum systems with Rabobank for fraud detection. Can you talk to a little bit?
Sure. It's one of our first instances in the finance. We have a couple of others, but we've been working in partnering with them, going over what our technology can do in terms of their solutions. In the case of fraud detection, you're looking at very, very large sets of data that can either have a temporal base element to them, or they could have different sort of communities or clusters of observations. And because they can be connected in very complex ways, we can use our entropy quantum computer and even some offshoots of that in our quantum machine learning applications to try to identify these anomalous transactions that would be considered fraudulent. So it's a new area. Our technology is very powerful. We've done some good demonstrations of our capabilities, which has led to this relationship with Rabobank. Very excited to solve some of those problems.
And on that note, there are other companies in the quantum space. Can you talk about how you are different from these other quantum computing solutions? So what makes you valuable and unique?
Yeah, as I alluded to earlier, so one of the real unique features of our core technology is that because we're using the environment as a source of energy rather than treating it as a source of noise, our systems can be constructed and architected very simply. Namely, they can run at room temperature. They run at very low levels of power, so their size, weight, power, or so-called swap-C values are really efficient compared to the architectures that you are familiar with out there. The other thing that's really unique is that we can solve problems that are highly connected. So I alluded to the fact that real-world problems tend to have a lot of complexity in terms of the number of variables that can cause an effect or a result. And those variables interact with each other. Okay, so many of the other systems out there today are not able to efficiently connect or make all the interconnections among those variables and can only give partial solutions. And we work very well with complex, dense problems that are of a scale that is interesting to the world today, not 3 years from now.
Well, thank you so much, Bill. Fascinating, and the applications, I mean, are really exciting too, I think, for the future.
It really seems like it's a game changer in the industry, and that's what's really exciting about this. Hopefully one day we can get an intro, because photonic, whatever.
Come visit us in our lab. We'll do a demo of all those things I talked to you about.
That's really incredible. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
The Sustainable Green Team is a leading provider of environmentally conscious solutions in the arbor care, disposal, and recycling industry. We are a vertically integrated green manufacturer of green waste to usable product solutions. We recently partnered with VRM Biologic, which includes manufacturing and distribution rights for world-leading soil moisture technology, Humisoil, and XLR8 Bio. Find us on the OTCQX as the stock ticker SGTM. The time to invest in the future of sustainability is now for this generation and future generations.
Do your employees use Zoom? Do your employees use Microsoft Teams? Professionals need enhanced security. AdZerify's Defender for the only secure, zero-trust video conferencing protection. Your employees, clients, and patients deserve it.
Secure, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Secure is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Secure. Visit secure.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Secure is a platform with email, messaging, other services that allow you to communicate with people securely. And with me is the CEO, Ilan Yahi, to talk about the company, bring us up to date. I know it's been a pivotal year for you, Ilan, and let's just have a recap of 2022. It seems like there was a lot going on this year for Secure.
Yes, hi Jen. Lots going on Secure in 2022. In terms of the internal aspects of it, user base, product release, and so forth, we had an amazing year, and we're expecting a really good year next year. The fruit of all our work for new product improvements, new launches that we had, the Secure Messenger. We're launching next year the Enterprise Suite, email and messenger with users management. These are for larger companies. We also are launching our VPN next year and secure voice and video. But in 2022, we grew our subscriber base. We have over 5,000 subscribers today. We were able to reduce a little bit of our cost compared to 21. We have a huge cost cutting in 23. So we're cutting our costs by close to 50%. We expect to end 2023 with close to $2 million Canadian. So in US dollar, it'll be divided by 1.35. Sorry. Okay. Basically, enough runway. We are going to spend less on marketing and other thing, but we do expect at least a 50% increase in sales. So we're optimizing essentially our dollar. So 2022 was really critical because in 21 we raised a lot of money. We launched kind of the last half and we had a lot to learn, the consumers and so forth. In 23, we have a huge campaign going on with a media company. I won't name it, I guess, because anybody can go to our news. We're sponsoring Dinesh D'Souza, who's a very famous conservative speaker and basically a personality. And also, we're very proud to sponsor Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, a huge person in the conservative movement, youth movement in the United States, 10 million followers. And we're sponsoring them twice a week for all of 2023. And we have some of the stuff that we're doing. So we're very excited. We're also launching B2B platforms in May, our own B2B integration. So you can be a reseller, you can be an IT company, come to us, sign up as a reseller, and we have an automated process to sell Secure for you and get your cut. So definitely we're going to focus heavily on the business aspect. So I think the business is going to be good. I hear a lot of recession. We do not share that sentiment because hackers are not in a recessionary mode. In fact, when there's financial issues, you get a lot more hacks. And one of the things that the banks are going to do, they're not cutting on IT and cybersecurity.
Yeah, I would not think any business would want to cut down on that, recession or not, because a hack can be so much more expensive. And it just feels like they're happening all the time lately. So you and I, talked about hacks almost on a weekly basis.
Yeah, they happen a lot. They happen a lot on messengers as well. That's why our Secure Messenger with chat by invite, where you can chat with anybody who doesn't have the messenger, that's an amazing tool. Once we launch our enterprise grade with all the bells and whistles in early Q2 next year, we can go to bigger companies. We've already had demand in Latin America from big companies that I can't name here, unfortunately. So once we have that and a couple other features. We can service those companies, and there's no reason why we can't go in the US and do that. We also plan to have a certification probably the end of next year called a SOC 2, SOC 2 certification. This is great for finance companies that want to buy our product. So we really have, I mean, we don't plan to raise any money as far as I'm concerned in 2023. I want to reiterate to some of our viewers, because there has been speculation all over, that we will not need cash in 2023 to carry out the whole year. As a matter of fact, we'll end up with cash at the end of 23 to carry the following. However, we have filed an F1 filing, which is equivalent to an S1 for foreign issuers. That is moving along. Whenever, if we get approved by the SEC to uplist to NASDAQ, at that time, the board will reconvene to see when and if we do it, depending on market conditions, because our security has suffered tremendously, mostly from a few very big sellers and a lot of volume in the sale, which has so far looked like it's bottoming out and abated, but we have suffered greatly from millions of shares being sold. I think those were investors that were moving maybe to another investment or whatever it is, but definitely they did not make money on that trade because their cost was much higher than the price they sold at. So there must have been a motive at some point, someplace, which we're not aware of.
Well, and I know that you recently had a favorable analyst note about the value of the stock. So if in fact that analyst note is accurate, it's a good time to buy the stock.
Yeah, that's very true. We do have an amazing analyst report. I encourage everybody to go to secureprivatedata.com, which is our corporate site, and look at the FRC research report. The target on the report, the fair value and the buy was 61 cents US, 83 Canadian. What I like about the analyst report is that it really digs down to our financials, the product, the competition, the market. I think anybody, even if you just want to know about the product and who's our competitor, it's a great way to kind of have all that information into that report. If you want to buy the product, you can go to secure.com, SEKUR.com. You can look at what we do. You can buy the product. And I'd like to offer, if I may, an exceptional promo code valid only until January 2nd with a 50% discount. The promo code is SECURE50, SEKUR50. So SECURE50 gets you 50% off for the next 5 years. So if you sign up before January 2, for 5 years, if you don't close your account, uninterrupted renewal, you get 50% off. And it's just an amazing set of tools. So I encourage everybody to do that. Yeah, the report that you mentioned is quite well done. And I have been buying, actually, this is public information, because I cannot make a buy or sell recommendation. I can't tell people, go buy my stock. The best thing I can do is show people what I believe in. And I have bought over 2 million shares of the company in the market since October 1st. You can go to see our SEDI filing, SEDI, and see every single transaction of management, buy or sell. I've never sold any. I've done only buying. So I bought over 2 million shares in the last 90 days for good reasons. We believe strongly in the future of the company, and we do have a path to profitability. We expect to be operationally profitable at the end of next year.
Yeah, well, and I know insider buying, from covering that for years, that's a positive sign for the stock, that the people who know the business best are the ones who are investing. So let's just finish with holiday tips. So we're toward the end of the year here. Travel has been absolutely huge this year and looks like it continues to be big. So what kind of tips can you give to people who are traveling a lot now to protect their data?
Yeah, that's a great tip. I love giving those tips. So first of all, if you're in a public place, try not to use your Wi-Fi. Use your phone hotspot. I mean, they have high speed, they got 5G now, so it's perfectly fine for basic things. So try to do that. If you are logging into a website or your bank application or app, I mean, usually you can have the fingerprint login, but if you have to put username, password, check around you that nobody's behind you to watch those credentials. Little thing, people do that. They look around and then they find out. Also, if you shop, one of my favorite things to do in the holidays, or even if you buy a plane ticket, do not store that credit card information in the vendor's website. They will encourage you to keep that card, but it's the same as saying, you know, going to a store and saying, here's my card, can you keep it for me for the next month until I come back to buy another sweater or whatever. You would never do that. And that's the same thing with websites. As safe as they are, people get hacked. We read about it all the time. And I don't like to save my credit card on a website if I can avoid to do that. So I would recommend that if you get an email and you think it's something legit, check the email address, hover, and look at the actual email address, not the name that it appears on. That's important too. And if you communicate financial information, credit card information, medical or legal, do not use those free messaging application or those big tech emails because they are all read, they are all hacked, and we've discussed enough in the last year about what happens every week almost. So you want to protect that privacy, that financial information. So that I would recommend if you travel and you lose your card, that happens, go to your bank application and lock that card, or go to the website, lock it immediately. That gives you time to contact your credit card issuer to reissue a new one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good advice. And traveling is busy. Holidays are busy. We're distracted, but it's always good to take another 10 minutes out of your day and just make sure you're protected. It'll save you a lot of headaches down the road.
It definitely will. So recommended to do that. And I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas,
yes,
a Happy Hanukkah, and a Happy New Year. And looking forward to see you all next year. Wishing you all good health and prosperity for 2023.
Thanks so much, Alon. You too. And look forward to seeing you in 2023.
Me too. Thanks, Jane. Bye, everyone.
Secure, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Secure is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Secure. Visit secure.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Blue Castle Venture provides clients in Canada and several other countries globally the opportunity to access global markets with an actively managed strategy that takes advantage of the latest asset trends. And with me is David Rojas, the CEO. I have Blue Castle Ventures, and let's just talk about, it's been, 6 months or something, or maybe more since we talked. What's the latest with Blue Castle?
It was less time, but yeah.
It was? Okay.
Yeah, no, it was, we've been growing, fortunately. Actually, we have launched new products. So in the beginning, we were handling different products that will emulate banking products in 3 major areas. So one is capitalization, when a person needs to kind of grow their capital. Secondly, to maintain their capital. And third, pension, that is kind of a start a product. And now we launched a couple of products, one's towards people who want to save for their children to go to the university. We have another product for people who have actually business projects and they want to raise money for those projects. So we're helping them with that as well. And we did the first test. Last time I told you that we were working on a product in which we could give some sort of crypto mortgages. We already did a test with a vehicle. So we got a person a month ago, get a vehicle with 0% of interest using our system.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, now that the rates are so high for any type of loan.
That's an interesting.
Yes, so our system is actually working. And it's basically because we do use the blockchain system as our cryptography system to exchange services for cash and everything, and our stablecoin, where we use it as well with real assets. So that's why kind of we are unaffected with all this crypto situation.
Well, that's what I was going to ask about. So FTX, of course, a huge collapse.
I called it last time I was here.
Did you? Okay.
Do you remember I told you, you will see all these managers of these exchanges running with your money? Voila.
Well, yeah, and FTX was the biggest one, but there were some others too, and maybe some more.
Yeah, because they are all entangled one with another. So they have this same kind of business model in which you give them money for air, and then there is no way for you to get your money back. And I was listening to this guy on Bloomberg. He has an NFT company, and he was saying, yeah, we sell NFTs, and there is a big event, and you can buy these NFTs of this event. And they ask him, and does your company buy those NFTs back? And he say, no. And I'm like, okay, you are minting something, where you are creating something, but you don't believe that you can buy it back? Why don't you buy it back for a lesser price and you make money out of it? Why do you have to keep all the money and put the customer in a game in which they buy this thing that has no collateral, they have to find another person who will believe you and pay you more for that, but the person who was the main responsible, he's out of the game already. He already has the money, he already made it, right? So that's absolutely wrong in all points of view, because if you are creating a cryptocurrency, you have to be more or less like the Fed. Okay, I'm releasing this. The value is the trust that people are putting in it. So Blue Castle has that. We are like the Fed. I'm Mr. Powell in this case. And why our company works, because okay, our customers buy the currency. They buy products, services, and also plans that we have that emulate banking products. But at the same time, every time they want to cash out, we buy back that cryptocurrency because we have the collateral, right? As of today, and after 4 years, not one customer, not one can say, oh, Blue Castle, I've never been able to withdraw my money.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, and it's needed, I think, for the industry in order for everybody to feel comfortable and things to be more transparent. Now, what's in the future then, would you say, for Blue Castle?
So I have always been a big follower of what Sir Richard Branson does. He sees something and he just wants to make it better. Blue Castle has kind of the same view. So we see what happens with the financial industry. There are a lot of advantages and disadvantages for customers and for institutions. So what we have done with these crypto solutions is to take the best of the financial system and incorporate new things in which the customer is not at risk so much, and also that the customer knows what they're doing, because that way they can use better the products. People are just overspending with credit cards. From my point of view, a credit card is just an emergency tool, not an overspending tool. So simple things like that, how to grow your wealth. We see it with customers and ask them, the first thing we do is, what is your goal with this investment? Don't put money in Blue Castle if you don't know what you're gonna do with it. Oh, you don't know? Okay, maybe these examples are good for you. This is what you want to do. You want to study, you want to buy a house, you want to buy a car. What are those goals? You want a vacation? Now, we struck a deal with a well-known hotel chain. We are offering travel at 25% of the cost, like really high end services for a lower price. So all these deals is just to make your life better. That's what we want to do. Like, we want to create, or we want to take the crypto world and make it exist with what we have now with the banks. So we have great relationship with our bank, which is Royal Bank of Canada. So whoever opens the doors to us will have a great relationship because we're not competing with them. We're just a complement of a new trend, right? And this new trend can maybe build better services for the future. Maybe the banks will incorporate things that we're developing in the future.
Got it.
So I always thought that whatever you want to do in your life is how you change the life of others. That's the only thing that matters.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, David.
No.
Yep.
Do your employees use Zoom? Do your employees use Microsoft Teams? Professionals need enhanced security. AdZerify's Defender for the only secure, zero-trust video conferencing protection. Your employees, clients, and patients deserve it.
American Rebel calls itself America's patriotic brand. They sell safes, firearms, accessories, things like that. And with me is the CEO, Andy Ross, to tell me more about the company. And we touched on this a little bit when you were here a few weeks ago, but tell me again about the history and how did American Rebel start?
American Rebel started, it's really a great organic story of the American dream come true. You know, I had a TV show for 10 years on the Outdoor Channel, Sportsman's Channel, called Maximum Archery World Tour. I bow hunted the world on outdoor TV for 10 years. And while I was doing the show, I made a little music for the show, right? I wrote some hunting songs, some campfire songs coming in and out of commercials, the intro, songs like Gotta Go Hunting Blues, Hunt Me Down, Support Your Local Wildlife, Blood Trail on a Whitetail. And they were kind of themed around the show. But when digital file sharing and iTunes came out, they actually did real well. And a lot of artists in Nashville, a lot of country artists, watched my show because they're hunters, and the next thing I know, I'm getting opportunities to write with really accomplished artists. Next thing I know, I end up going to Nashville and making an album, and I've made 4 now. We've made 4 albums of music. The music's doing really well, and I had a song called American Rebel in 2015. It became a patriotic anthem, went viral, and me and Doug Grau, my producer manager, now president of American Rebel, and Corey Lambrick, lead outside director, we thought, why don't we build a brand around this momentum, this synergy, this energy we got with this music and this vibe. And there was only one name to call it, American Rebel, right? So American Rebel was born. Next thing I know, that was 2015. February of this year, we ended up being uplisted to NASDAQ.
Yeah.
So I'm now the CEO of a publicly traded company. So, a kid with a passion for bow hunting ends up with a TV show, ends up with a music career, ends up the CEO of a publicly traded company, and finds himself blessed today to be sitting here with you.
No, it sounds like an awesome life, actually. And you really you made a recent acquisition, right?
We
Tell me
did.
about that.
So while we were making our concealed carry products, making our gun safes, we used an OEM manufacturer, and this OEM manufacturer also owned a brand called Champion and a brand called Superior. So again, our OEM factory, 2 factories, we just, as he got up in years and was thinking about, pulling it to the curb and retiring and slowing down a little bit, he had done a lot of business with us, and we had a good relationship, and we were the ones fortunate enough to buy his company.
Yeah.
So we now own Champion, Superior, as well as American Rebel, of course. We own the factories. We have distribution centers, 5 distribution centers around the country, and we have almost 400 retail stores buying our product.
Yeah. So what's next for American Rebel?
Oh, what's next? We're on our way to become America's patriotic brand. So we've got some new product launches. We've got our 2A lockers we'll be introducing in January at the SHOT Show in Las Vegas, and we also have our full line of e-bikes that we'll be introducing. Some people have asked me, they've said, e-bikes, that's a little bit of distance away from safes. Well, a lot of our stores are full-blown sporting goods stores, and they would love to see American Rebel dartboards, American Rebel kayaks. They want to see all kinds of American Rebel products. And the market of e-bikes right now is just absolutely exploding.
It's huge in New York, yeah.
And we've got a good bike, too. We've got a good line. We're not, e-bikes are also becoming, they're great transportation. Obviously, they're a lot of people, like the green story around them, but they're also becoming a sport like X Games. I mean, people are doing trail riding and mountain biking, and they're fun. They're a sport as well as transportation. So we've got an on-road off-road, and an off-road e-bike that we're excited to show the world.
So how can somebody find out more about American Rebel and Andy Ross?
Well, you can go to our social media, of course. Everything's at American Rebel, at Andy Ross Rebel, or andyross.com or americanrebel.com. And we would love to have you be a part of our patriotic family and help us grow this great brand.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Andy.
Happy to do it. Thank you.
Secure, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Secure is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Secure. Visit secure.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Welcome, everyone, to your Secure Privacy and Security segment. I'm Anna Berry, along with Elaine Guillay, the CEO of Secure Private Data. Welcome, Elaine.
Thanks, Anna. Happy to be here. Hi, everyone.
All right, we've got a fun weekly hack for everyone. I don't know if you, our viewers, have seen this new Lensa filter. I've not done it because I've learned through you, Elaine, through our conversations, don't do this kind of stuff. But everyone's posting these pictures of themselves in a form of a goddess or a warrior or some beautiful, and they are beautiful images that are created by AI. But what we're talking about today, the dangers of these beautiful images and what is really happening to our data. Whose hands are they getting into? So Elaine, tell us what's going on with this Lensa app.
This Lensa app, which is pretty scary, and there's others as well now that I have heard that they essentially tell you, hey, take a photo, use this app, and it'll tell you how you're going to look like if you're 65, 70, 80, whatever, how you age, or 30, and essentially it entices people to use these applications, give your facial recognition, and it's a trap because it's like, hey, it's fun. I want to look like, how I look like as a superhero, or how will I look like in 10 years? Essentially, you are being fooled to give your facial recognition features. And this segment is totally perfect timing because yesterday I just got back from Switzerland after several months of being there. It's such an amazing place because you don't have any of these kind of nonsense. You have full freedom. People are happy the way they are. And, God created humans and animals in different shapes and forms. And I think this kind of application makes people even more insecure. And, you don't need to look like a goddess to be beautiful or like a god. But that's a different topic. But I was watching this whole thing on the Chinese credit system. It's an investigative report. The French people love doing those things. So if you have a French channel, probably not in the US, but you get all these reports on things that the mass market TV won't show you in North America. And essentially, it's about the facial recognition and all the software they use. There's one camera for 2 citizens in China. Now, they have 1.4 billion citizens. And it is the social credit. So if you don't buy Mao Zedong's book, or if you criticize the government, your score goes down. It goes down to you can't even take public transport anymore. If you have a great credit, you may get free water in a vending machine. It goes the gamut. I'm not saying, and as what's interesting is that they have a lot of people they interview, both in the US and China. And this whole credit score system, the social credit, means you have to be a good citizen and mold, and you're put in a box. Essentially, you have to follow rules. This was modeled after the credit system in the 1950s or 60s, the financial credit system that was created in the US. because the Chinese said, how come, financially speaking, people in the US are responsible, but in China they were not, and they cheat and this and that. So they created this controlling thing. Now, the good news in the US, you don't have a social credit system yet, but these applications that you give your entire facial feature, you're giving away data. Now, the big problem, besides giving away your entire life and, DNA and data, those DNA service too, like, who was my great-grandfather? Well, you're giving away your whole DNA, by the way, when you do this testing, this gene testing. What's happening is, who is storing that data? Mm-hmm. And are they safe enough to store, no, they're not, because we all know everybody gets hacked. Like, we all go through that. And the big companies who are more interested in exploiting your data as opposed to safeguarding it will spend more money on capturing that data as opposed to safeguarding it. It's just like your emails, the same thing. So it's scary.
Right. And none of us are reading the fine print. I mean, maybe you are, but no one's reading the fine print of what they're actually going to do with our data, our image. And we're all guilty. If you've ever posted a picture on social media, they stole it, they've got it, who knows what they're going to do with it. But that's why we're here talking about this, because I am reducing my social media footprint due to our conversations. I am making decisions differently when it comes to sending emails, sending my personal information. So let's tie in where secure comes into it, because it's really hard to wipe out all possible types of intrusions of our data, but we can take small steps. Tell us some steps that we can use your service.
Absolutely. So at Secure, the prime directive is to keep your privacy. I was reading something. I think the data lending business is a $185 billion a year business. So when you do a selfie or you give away or you use a big tech email or service, you are basically making close to $200 billion a year for the other big companies while they are exploiting you. So with Secure, at least you have the privacy. You do pay for it because you have to pay $5-10 a month, maybe less. But at least you know that your data is secure and private, and we don't sell or lend it. It's against our rule. It's against the rules of Switzerland, where we're hosted. And it's against our culture and our DNA. So that's critical to know. So have your regular email, have your meta chat or whatever for jokes. But if you're doing conversation between families have groups too. They have group chat. So your entire activity is being monitored, by the way, on that. So don't use those free applications. Buy like a 4 license or something. Spend your $15-20 a month and you have privacy. So that's how you can change, yeah.
What a great Christmas or Hanukkah gift for the holidays, right? Securing someone this deal, because you're also giving a promo for our listeners, right?
Yes, so it's only valid for, if you sign up until the end of this year, because it will expire in January. I am giving 50% off, that's 50, to anybody who wants to buy monthly, yearly application, anything, and it's valid until January 1st. Let's make it January 2nd, 2023, because January 1st is the first day of the year and it's a holiday. So you get 50% off. Now, if you sign up on a yearly package, you already get 2 months free. So that equates to about 67% of the regular price, and that will be valid for 5 years. So if you renew without canceling, obviously, if you keep your auto renew, for the next 5 years, you have a 50% discount. Yearly, it's 67% off. And that's the only time I'm going to do it this year. And promo code is SECURE50, SEKUR50. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and good health and prosperity for next year.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.